It seems the internet can't stop talking about Mulan these days. In the latest line of Disney execs trying to extort nostalgia from us, relive our childhoods with these live action remakes. Whether they're good or bad lately, they seem to keep the cash flowing in. Mulan was my most anticipated movie. I was heartbroken when I found out that the theaters were going to be closed due to the virus and I couldn't see this on the big screen. So I just recently watched it and now I want to try to fix it. Hello, my Lord lovers. My name is Lindsay, aka November Pixie. Thanks for joining me on another episode of Can I Fix It? So today, just to flood your YouTube feeds with another one, we are talking about Mulan. Now, before I get to this fix, I actually want to make a statement that I didn't really hate this film. The original is my all-time favorite. Now, this one didn't make me seethe with anger, as it seems like a lot of other people. I actually enjoyed about 75% of the movie. I think everyone's entitled to their opinion. If they didn't like it, they didn't like it. I will admit this film did have some problems, which is why I wanted to do an episode of Can I Fix It? Because I did enjoy it for the most part. And when it comes to Disney live action remakes these days, I have been, how should I put this? Less than impressed. In a world where we can turn people into orcs,
name.
or night kings,
We would make moulds with fiberglass and epoxy resin.
or of an alien species.
We completely resculpted the head and rebuilt it so that
Well, they're not hero characters. How do you manufacture?
In a world like that, don't give me this and call it live action. Live action and motion capture is not the same thing. That is one thing I hated about The Lion King. Every single shot in there is computer animated. Please stop calling The Lion King live action. However, after watching the trailer for Mulan, it seems like, wow, they actually got live action. These are real people. Almost everything around them is real. Now, I understand that most of the landscape is probably not 100%, and they probably used a little bit of CG, but you know what? When you use CG to just expand things like depth of field or animated characters such as a phoenix, that's live action done right. That's just enhancing the experience. Now, before you go jumping in my comment section, I know what you're going to bring up. The witch. We're gonna come back to her. I promise. Stay with me. I'm going somewhere with this, okay? Visually, I really cannot complain. There were a couple of places that we need to tweak, but again, I'll get to those. So I can't go too much further without getting to the fix. So the big question is, can I fix it? Well, I'll give it my best shot. I really don't know why they got rid of the songs. It seems like every other Disney live action remake has had songs in it, and that's what I truly love about the story of Mulan, singing every single song. So I think actually underscoring the movie with some of the original songs actually will bring back the joy that the people are missing. That's my first fix, is just bring back some of the original songs, to take away this notion that Mulan is magic. She's not. She's just a woman, a former martial artist. I get it. I understand where they were going with this. When you watch people who have dedicated years of their lives to these sports, they do some pretty magical things.
It looks like, you know when you see in films that people are on wires just sailing through the air, kicking through. It looks like that. Just walking through the air. It's like someone's swimming. It is. It's like there's a set of stairs there. Making use of each foot. It's like, well, I kick with that leg, I'll kick with this now. Oh,
As a former martial artist, I get it, where they were going with this, but we need to add more. Now, to totally strip away the notion that Mulan is magic, the very first thing that would hit the cutting room floor would be this scene. First of all, this scene is not very well shot. This is not a cartoon. Cut it. Instead of the chicken scene, We actually need to see more shots of Mulan as she's younger and just see her training or hiding it from her mother, where she's being forced by her mother to do things like looming and cooking, and watch her training a little bit more. And like I said, blending the two, I think that that would give people a good perspective of what Mulan was fighting against. She was fighting against the cultural, and she was fighting with this desire to want to learn. Now, the matchmaking scene is actually pretty important, and I think that it does need to be kept. However, after the scene, it just immediately goes into Mulan's father being chosen, but we miss the part about her going to the ancestors and apologizing. The song Reflection was actually very important because we have to show Mulan as disappointed with herself in not bringing honor to her family and apologizing to her ancestors. We have to see that. So if it adds 5 minutes or so to the movie, I bet you people wouldn't mind. I actually like Bori Khan. I think he's perfectly intimidating, and that makes him a great antagonist. I think Jason Scott Lee did a great job with the character. However, we're talking about taking on the Chinese army. That's a lot of people. In the original Shifu, he had a horde. He had an army behind him. And then when we meet him on the mountain, that's a credible threat. However, every time we see Bori Khan, he's storming these fortresses, and he's doing it with like 10 people. And don't bother pointing out who else he's with. We're not going there yet. I will get to her, I promise. I like Bori Khan. I think he was great. I think he was great as an antagonist, but he needs more than 10 people in his entourage to make him a little bit credible. And when you're talking about using CGI in a movie, to know when it's appropriate and when it's not. And you know, I bet you if they had used CGI to create an army for Bori Khan to make it look something more like this, you know, I think everyone would be okay with that. So that's my next fix. We gotta give Bori Khan an army. I loved almost everything about the training camp. I love the tension of Mulan having to sleep with the boys. I love how every time she's sleeping, boys are rolling over and they're touching her, and she's just afraid that she's gonna, you know, be found out. Almost everything about the camp I don't want to change. But why did they have to get rid of the pole and the arrow scene? I mean, walking up the mountain with the buckets of water, I think you can have that scene in there, but Mulan conquering the pole and retrieving the arrow, that was just such a major moment. We have to keep that. Right, I told you I was gonna get back to her, so let's chat about it. The witch. Visually, when she fights, it's absolutely beautiful in my opinion. That's why I was initially on the fence about her. I also kind of initially thought they were gonna treat her as a Jafar, the original guy. I honestly thought she just had him under some kind of mind control. Then all of a sudden she's embodying people, and then she's turning into birds. It just is so crazy. Not to mention, every time she has any kind of conversation with Mulan, it just pounds into this whole female empowerment rather than just having it be a nuanced thing and letting the audience come to the conclusion. So as visually stunning as the witch is, she's gone. Now going back to the visuals, I can tell that there was a lot of wire work involved in this movie. Now, I am a big fan of martial arts films. I mean, come on, Jet Li is in this film, for God's sakes. If you watch a martial arts film, you do things and you swear that it was being done with wires. So another thing I would fix in this film is stop relying so much on wire work. Do think the final fight between Mulan and Bori Khan was just a little too flashy. We need to pull it back. But we are removing the witch, so Mulan taking her hair down, riding around with no armor, and doing all the whooshy things, gone. We're not doing that. She's going to remain in her armor. Now, in the original, she saved her commanding officer, and I think that that's better. Rather than saving one of her friends, she actually needs to save the commander, especially after they have this incredible conversation about how much he respects Mulan. After that conversation, then discovering that he had been misled and she is a female, and him deciding to spare her life even though the penalty is death, I think that that is such a powerful moment from the original, and it needs to be kept here. The ending scene, I actually liked it. I loved her interaction with her father as she comes back to her village and he's just very overcome with emotion and saying how proud of Mulan he is. I think that's all good. I think that we do just need to keep it a very light and soft end. So there you have it. That's my fix for Mulan. So what did you think? Was it too close to the original? Was it not enough changes? Do you feel it was too similar and not really a fix? Let me know in the comment section below what you thought about my fix for Mulan. If you do like this video, be sure to give it a big thumbs up and share it on socials. That helps out a lot. If you did like this fix and you have a movie or a television show you'd like me to try to fix, leave it in the comment section. Also follow me on all the major forms of social media as I do hold polls to participate in what my next project will be. And if you do like what I do on this channel, sprinkle a little pixie dust over that subscribe button. Until next time, wishing you peace, love, and pixie dust.